is Aaron Lee, and the tabletop game I am introducing you is called Brink of the Colossi, and it is a 2 to 4 player game that is heavily based off of real-time strategy. The objective in Brink of the Colossi is to be the last remaining player in the game by invading the opponent's base or defeating their commander. Since it carries on with the theme of tug of war, the board game is provided with turns that players can act and commit upon on two separate maps, the map of Dorman and the combat area known as the Judgment Zone. In the initiation process of which players gets to go first, it is based off of a dice roll. With the d20, the player with the number closest to 20 goes first. If it resides to a tie, then the result will be produced with one round of rock, paper, scissors. The order of events through players will proceed to the player who won. When initiating a player's turn, they start at opposite ends of the 6 hexagonal tiled map of Dorman. In order to obtain new lands, you must move units into that land. If it is an empty land, you can obtain it. However, whenever there are monsters or other units within that land, you can combat them with the units that you brought into that land. The winner of that combat owns the land. Like any other real-time strategy board games such as Risk or Total War, creating units are vital to a wargaming board game. These are your arsenal of units that are at your disposal to defeat your enemy. Archers. They are bowmen that have long ranges of attack space and are represented as a blue gem. Knights. They are units that can take mediocre amounts of damage and provoke other units, and are represented as a red gem. Flyer. They are aerial units that can attack both ground and aerial units and pierce through units. Those are represented as white gems. Commander. A commander is the avatar of the player. They can move anywhere on the map and hit both ground and aerial targets. Those are represented as a shiny rock. Monsters. On Dorman, monsters are always encountered when a player moves into a new land for positioning, unless they roll 1. Their difficulty is based on the dice roll of a d20. Colossus. A Colossus can only be encountered when rolling a 20. Monster/Colossus are controlled by the player, so whichever player starts first commits to their turn first, and then the monster or Colossus after. Then, the monster is then passed on to the other player and is repeated through the same process. When a player deals a final blow to a monster or Colossus, they keep that unit as part of their arsenal. They are represented as a gem on its side. So if you roll 1, you gain no monster on the field. If you roll 2 to 8, you gain an archer monster. If you roll 9 to 13, you gain a knight monster. If you roll 14 to 19, you gain a flyer monster. And if you roll 20, you gain the Colossus monster, which is similar to a commander. When a player initiates combat, it will proceed through the following on the 10 by 10 square tiled map. Whichever unit, player, or NPC is at the corresponding land, then the unit defending that land goes first in combat. If it is empty land, then whoever is first to enter that land is the defending player. In combat, when the first round goes through, players may only use this turn to position their units thoroughly throughout the Judgment Zone. After the first round, the defending player may start with whichever course of action they choose. In terms of units, the amount of units that the player can have is based on the amount that have been brought into the Land of Dorman, up to 10 units. Those units are both able to attack and move in one round. When attacking, the units have their own specified sets of attacks based on range, and each unit has a pool based off of attack points and hit points. Only 5 units are allowed to enter into the combat map from each player. So if a player exceeds the 5 units, then they have to selectively choose which units to carry through the first set of rounds. When more units are called in, they have to wait at their respective sides for one round before being able to commit to any actions. Movement will be decided on the amount of squares the unit can move to on the Judgment Zone. Each unit has its own amount of squares specified to them only. When a winner has been decided at the end of combat, the winner remains on trial and carries on with their turn. Thank you.